Have you ever wondered if you could escape from everyday routine and live an exhilarating way of life, filled with success and adventure? Let me show you how. So many people struggle with taking meaningful action because of subtle qualities that exist on the personal, emotional, or behavioral levels. That's what inspired me to write my second book, Hit the Road and Thrive. The response indicates that there are many who still have obstacles that interfere with their stepping fearlessly forward. As the result, I have been moved to create an additional curriculum that will also benefit even more readers on a deeper level. Some people call me the guru of living an interesting life because I have overcome being stuck and have found the formula for rising above everything that kept me attached to the past and learning how to embrace the wonder of the present moment. Have you ever felt that you would never find fulfillment in your life? Or that life was just passing you by? Or whatever you did just wasn't ever going to be perfect, and that it just didn't matter? That would be a depressing place, right? I felt that way at one time. And you feel like there is no hope and that there is no way out. But stay with me and let me introduce you to what is possible. But first, let me take you back in time. Let me share something personal with you. My little sister and I stood frozen in our tracks on our way to school as our older brother was mercilessly picked on. When the neighborhood bullies turned their attention upon us, terror pierced my soul. I had been taught to be my little sister's protector, but something gripped the back of my throat, leaving me without a voice for the first of many times to come. The frustrations continued at home. John's then nameless condition stole my parents' attention, leaving Paula and I feeling trivial in our own family. Having a strict, domineering father who could not be satisfied only added fuel to the fire. I gradually came to believe I deserved the continual shame, frustration, and confusion that permeated my childhood experience. I got the message from my surroundings that there was something wrong with me, a belief that would follow me into adulthood. The only solace I found was with my sister, united in the cold disappointment of our adolescence. Paula and I became young allies. We developed a deep hatred for the situation we had been born into, adopting the double-edged sword of withdrawal as a survival strategy. Through this very strategy meant to protect us, we grew apart as we grew into our teens. My desire for escape soon included alcohol, which worked to extinguish the shame of being me, even if only temporarily. Eventually, this liquid diversion led to the devastation of hitting bottom. Thankfully, my rock bottom became the foundation upon which I rebuilt my life. In the security of my AA group, I gained a new perspective, rebranding the tragic episodes of my youth into gifts of strength. I was introduced to a design for living that filled my heart with joy and gave my life new purpose. Delivered from hatred, I wanted to help my estranged sister do the same. Unfortunately, I was too late. Paula's own hatred had manifested itself as a huge mass on her heart, taking her life at age 59. One thing became clear. Resentment had the power to kill. Gazing upon her lying in a casket, I burst into tears, determining more than ever to seek forgiveness in my heart and help others find the same peace and healing I had. I held the ticket to help those wounded souls discover their own path to freedom. I may have been too late to save my sister, but I would help others in her honor. This work is dedicated to my dear sister Paula. I have culminated all my efforts into the curriculum covered in my online course, Stuck No More, Turning Dreams into Plans. My goal is to benefit as many people around the world as I can by helping them find a life they love, free from the chains of their past. If you'll allow me, I want nothing more than to share this gift with you. Many people are stuck in negative cycles while living their lives, feel abandoned, convinced about the futility they now consider normal, and are actually contemptuous about any solution that involves change. They live in silent pain while enduring suffering with their unknowing family members. All hope seems drained from their lives, with no chance for the thrill of adventure, joy in their hearts, or happiness. When I travel throughout the country, it doesn't matter what nationality, spirituality, or even what profession you are in. I see it and feel it everywhere, and this problem is growing every day. Uncovering the subtle belief system acquired in childhood is the starting place to dismantle the flaws in our thinking that keep us stuck. This course has a step-by-step system to eliminate all hurdles and a pathway through your psyche to bring about healing, enlightenment, and new joy, which will last your entire lifetime. By taking this powerful course that contains over 24 transformational video lessons, quizzes, and intuitive assignments that can all be completed in less than 2 weeks, you will burst through the emotional tugs that tie you down. You will learn how to create a future filled with health, abundance, joy, and inspiration that is vastly different from the routine you have become used to. My perception of the world was formed early on as the result of my childhood experiences and the decisions that I made at that time. I was horrified while watching the bullies picking on my older, handicapped brother on the way to school. Seeing the cruelty, I decided on the spot that the world was not a friendly place. Rather than to make progress with learning social skills with the other kids, I withdrew. I chose to remain reclusive, independent, and self-reliant while I retreated into my creative endeavors. I did not discover that my social ineptitude, negative perceptions of my surroundings, or even the demand resistance for authority created an inevitable dead end for my lifestyle. Hitting a devastating bottom opened up myself up to begin my healing journey that is available to you now as part of this course. Rick was stuck in a never-ending cycle of negative thinking. He could not shake the feeling of impending doom as he handled the many tasks in his workday as a refrigeration specialist, or even find relational bliss in spite of being a capable and attractive guy. But he was my friend, and he had asked me for my help. One morning, as we walked through the motorcycle venue at Wildwood, New Jersey, toward the diner for breakfast, Rick rattled off an unbearable series of foul rants, putrid observations, and rank complaints about what others were saying and doing, and I had had enough. I stopped mid-stride on the sidewalk and stomped my feet as I took a wide stance. Rick, people come from long distances and pay me large amounts of money to have access to my imagination. I spoke intentionally. I have to be careful about what I allow into my thinking. I cannot allow you to infect my mind with your putrid scorn and negative complaining. While eating our breakfast, I went on to reveal to my friend how I got over the perpetual thinking that something was wrong with me and where that belief came from. I grew up with an older brother who produced clumsy, weird behavior from an unnamed condition. Because of his strange conduct, all the kids in the neighborhood, at school, and at church picked on him mercilessly, forcing my decision to avoid them, remain reclusive and withdrawn. Fortunately, I was introduced to the formula for living a happy, productive, and interesting life filled with useful purpose and laughter. I went from being reluctant to becoming a people person. Sharing where the idea that something was wrong with me came from helped him to realize that he had been imprinted as a child by his mother, who, due to her mental illness, could only produce sarcasm, complaints, and negativity. His default reaction was to always refer to something as negative. Fortunately, he was open to learning about what worked for me to transform my outlook on life. Introducing him to the foundational spiritual principles, a new set of beliefs to displace old thinking, and the responsibility to remain on the lookout for beauty helped him transform being stuck into becoming filled with joy and helping others enjoy the beauty that surrounds us all. And all of this framework and a step-by-step formula is available to you now in this course. In spite of the occasional setbacks over the years, Rick embraced the benefits of maintaining the service mentality to displace his tendency for negativity. Today, he has learned to be intentional with his attitude to benefit his community and enjoys helping others to find the happiness he has found. My frustrating situation was made worse by being born a preacher's kid. Such a kid could not live up to the impossible expectations of others. Our church contained an agonizing group of people who drowned me in shame at my inability to walk on water. Have you ever felt this way? I was held hostage by the impossible expectations of others. Do you have self-limiting beliefs imprinted on your heart that has you stuck in apathy and depression? Are you unable to break the chains of past trauma to enjoy life? My response to trauma was to avoid interacting with anyone, and that led me further into my trouble. Brian had a bleak attitude about himself in spite of being a knowledgeable, fun-loving professional guy who loved motorcycling. His domineering father, an automobile factory worker, told him as a boy that he would never amount to anything. That started him on his quest, always on the search for a hero figure. But disappointment and disillusionment followed him. First, he found his martial arts instructor. Then the religious teachers who led him astray with their own version of the good news. Brian found nothing that could heal his inner trauma. He was unable to maintain meaningful relationships and had a history of having and losing 65 jobs. I told him the story about the destructive messages that I received as a child and how the decision I made as a 6-year-old to be better off doing everything myself affected my ability to be successful in society. I shared with him about what I learned about my self-limiting beliefs received from others, and how by embracing the truth about my humanity, I was able to break the stronghold, make a new promise, and forgive others for being wrong. I asked him if he wanted my help, and Brian agreed. He soon became aware of the impact of being withdrawn from his father, who told him that he would never amount to anything, and to prove his dad wrong, he had a history of acquiring and losing 65 jobs. We uncovered that he had made the decision as a child to not take any crap from anyone. That was the root cause of his self-inflicted destruction. By working with me, he was able to let go of the past, embrace the now with a new truth, and welcome a future that includes fulfilling friendships with others. He now contributes in his Adult Children of Alcoholics family group and enjoys his career as a technical writer of documents for the U.S. government. When you embrace the science of belief as being self-imposed, you begin to move from the victim mentality, where everything is happening to me, and enter into the realm of self-responsibility. The course curriculum contains the complete formula to replace established strongholds with the easy-to-follow examples needed to produce new belief systems and the accompanying freedom for life. I met a man a decade ago at a regular morning meeting. He was a retired graphic artist for Hawaiian Tropic. He designed all of their advertising, Greg was also in charge of the beauty pageant they hosted every year. Since we were both artists, we hit it off right from the start. After 3 days of swapping stories about the good old days of hippiedom and a life of creativity, he confided that he had everything he needed to commit suicide. I was aghast. I thought about what he shared with me for a whole day. When I saw him the next morning, I began to tell him about how powerless and depressed I got as the result of negative situations that had piled up and seemed unsurmountable. I had arrived at the depth of depression such as I had never experienced before. The thought of suicide seemed a logical way to get some relief. Yet today, I am standing here with you, filled with a purpose for my life, and I am a happy man. But it took work to uncover the culprit that infected my thinking. I asked my friend if he wanted to get well. If you are ready to go to work on this, I am going to help you. Greg said yes. First, we are going to make a list of all the people in your life. Then we are going to do some journaling about what happened in your life. I made Greg my mission. For the next 10 days, I helped him with what we call in the recovery community his moral inventory. We uncovered what had blocked his happiness and laid what we found at God's feet. I got to see a light come on in my friend's eyes as I helped him transform from being ready to make the supreme sacrifice into a happy man ready to live a life of meaningful purpose. I kept in touch with Greg for many years, and he eventually died of natural causes. His widow called me and thanked me for introducing him to the design for living a wonderful, fulfilling, and beautiful life. I would like to reveal something to you that is universally available, but not completely understood. The 12 steps of recovery are adaptable to any form of being stuck. The underlying cause of what appears immovable or as a feeling of being trapped can always be uncovered through the careful utilization of honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. The secrets organized in my book, Hit the Road and Thrive, and the subsequent Udemy online course, Stuck No More, Turning Dreams into Plans, are evidence-based and all have validity in neuroscience and behavior, psychology, and spirituality. This online course is made up of enlightening storytelling, simple quizzes, projects and exercises that take you on a deeper dive into the different levels of your own life. This course includes one downloadable workbook. Inside, you will find easy to implement exercises to accomplish at your own pace. Several enriching concepts provide a new pathway applicable to everyday life situations. You will be guided through an examination of self, introduction of typical barriers, including chafing, hidden or buried trauma. Judgment-free course material releases you from being stuck. The payoff from uncovering and embracing these portions of our past is freedom from fear, worry, and mental anguish. Being transported to a new happiness, joy, and fulfillment occurs as you go through the modules of the course. Let me offer you a special guarantee. If you don't like any portion of the course, you can get all of your money back within 14 days with no questions asked. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Any future updates to the curriculum will be automatically updated inside the course. Access to a pre-recorded speech titled "Having a Good Mental Attitude" comes to alumni at no cost, where you will learn more about the healthy creation of affirmations used to create an incredible future. You will also receive a link to a recent podcast interview where an additional 40 minutes of high-value discussion covers overcoming obstacles and transforming tragedy into triumph. In order for you to benefit from all that I have shared about transforming being stuck into finding a life that you love, you have to take action now. Enroll in this Udemy online course, Stuck No More, Turning Dreams into Plans, today, and begin your launch into a purpose-driven and fulfilling life. If you don't like any portion of the course, you can get all of your money back within 14 days with no questions asked. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Go to Udemy now. Click Stuck No More, Turning Dreams into Plans, and enroll today. I will see you on the inside.